She looks at you like she wants you, then turns cold without warning. One moment she's laughing at your jokes. The next, she's distant, scrolling through her phone as if you don't exist. Most men interpret this as confusion or worse, manipulation. But in female psychology, this pattern has a deep logic. What you see as chaos is actually an unconscious form of testing, the woman's natural mechanism for revealing truth. Every emotional shift, every withdrawal, every sudden mood change. It's her way of asking a silent question. Can you handle my depth without losing yourself? In Jungian terms, she represents the anima's challenge, the emotional storm that awakens the masculine principle of order. In Machiavellian terms, she represents the ruler, the one who must know if her ally is stable, strategic and composed under pressure. Her test is not about emotion itself, but about your reaction to it. When she challenges you emotionally, she's not simply reacting, she's observing. She wants to see what hides behind your charm and confidence. Will you remain centered when she questions you? Will you maintain composure when she criticizes you? Will you stay grounded when she withdraws affection? A woman's emotional testing is an instinct older than civilization itself. It's a primal form of selection, rooted in survival. In ancient times, women couldn't afford to choose a man who crumbled under emotional or physical pressure. Testing became a biological filter, a way to sense a man's strength without needing proof of battle. Today, the test remains, but it wears a modern mask. It comes as sarcasm, silence, or sudden doubt. It's no longer about physical protection, but emotional dominance. Can you protect her from her own chaos by not being absorbed by it? The modern man fails because he takes the test personally. He assumes her coldness means rejection. Her questioning means disrespect. Her distance means disinterest. He reacts emotionally, chasing validation, explaining, or overcompensating. In that instant, he confirms her suspicion. He is ruled by his emotions, not master of them. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must learn to command both love and fear, but never be enslaved by either. The same principle applies here. She does not want your fear, nor your constant need for love. She wants your control, because emotional control is power, and power breeds attraction. Every test she gives you, every shift, every silence is not an attack, but a map. If you read it right, you'll understand her deeper desire. She wants to feel that you can remain sovereign even when she storms. The Machiavellian nature of emotional strategy. To understand why women test, you must understand Machiavelli. Not the caricature of cruelty people imagine, but the philosopher of human nature. Machiavelli studied rulers and observed one law above all. People respect stability more than goodness and power more than purity. A woman's testing follows this same principle. She subconsciously imitates the ruler who must test the loyalty and composure of her allies. She does not test because she doubts you. She tests because she must verify you. When Machiavelli wrote The Prince, he explained that a wise ruler never fully trusts words because words are masks. Loyalty, love, and strength must be proven through behavior under tension. In female psychology, emotional testing is the feminine form of this tension. She may provoke you, contradict you, or become emotionally unpredictable. These are not random acts. They are strategic disruptions meant to reveal whether your calm is genuine or conditional. When everything goes smoothly, every man can appear confident. But when chaos strikes, only the centered man remains. Think about it. Machiavelli's ruler would create pressure deliberately to see who could withstand it. Similarly, the dark feminine energy creates emotional friction, not to cause pain, but to expose your truth. A simple example, she says something intentionally provocative. "You've changed lately." The average man reacts defensively, explaining, arguing, seeking validation. The Machiavellian man doesn't react. He observes, smiles slightly, and lets silence do the talking. In that moment, he demonstrates strength, not through aggression, but through containment. Containment is the masculine art of holding emotional space without collapsing. It's what makes women trust, respect, and even surrender, because they sense that your emotions are not chaotic. They are disciplined. Machiavelli would call that the art of appearing unshaken, even when you feel the storm. Every time you pass a test by staying composed, she feels safer. Paradoxically, not because you give her reassurance, but because you don't need to. Your calm becomes her stability. Your emotional sovereignty becomes her attraction. Machiavelli warned that men who seek to please everyone become weak and predictable. The same applies in relationships. If you constantly seek her approval, she knows you can be manipulated by emotion. Once that happens, her respect begins to erode. She may still love you, but she cannot trust you as a leader. Her testing is not cruelty, it's nature's lie detector, and nature does not reward those who fail it. The feminine need for emotional security through power. Attraction isn't about looks, status, or charm. It's about energy. Female psychology revolves around emotional polarity. She feels drawn to the man whose stability contrasts with her emotional intensity. Her tests exist to confirm that polarity. When she pushes you emotionally, she's not trying to dominate you. She's trying to find safety in your strength. The paradox is that she feels secure not when you agree with her feelings, but when you can contain them. This is where Machiavelli's insight becomes psychological truth. He taught that power is about perception. People must feel your control, even when you are uncertain. Likewise, a woman must feel your emotional stability, even when she tests it. She's not asking for perfection. She's asking for presence. When you respond with anger, she feels unsafe. When you beg for clarity, she feels anxious. But when you respond with quiet authority, calm voice, steady eyes, controlled body language, she feels instinctively drawn to that power. Why? Because in her subconscious mind, emotional chaos equals danger. A man who loses control mirrors instability. A man who maintains composure represents security. She tests because she needs evidence that your strength is not an act. Modern culture calls these behaviors toxic or games, but ancient psychology calls them nature's negotiation. The dark feminine energy doesn't play games, it reveals truth through resistance. Every test she gives is a small rebellion against weakness. Every emotional storm is a ritual of purification, not for her, but for you. She's unconsciously trying to strip away everything performative, everything artificial, until she reaches the real man beneath the layers of pride, fear, and ego. When Machiavelli said, "Fortune favors the bold," he wasn't just talking about politics. He was describing this exact moment. The bold man doesn't retreat into self-pity or chase validation. He stays grounded in his mission, purpose, and value. He knows that if she tests him, it's because she's emotionally invested enough to care. Paradoxically, the woman who tests you most often is the one who respects you most, because she sees potential in you. She's looking for confirmation that the man she chose is as strong as she believes. The feminine test is therefore an act of respect disguised as resistance. In truth, emotional tests are invitations to embody emotional mastery, to demonstrate self-command, to show that you are a man who cannot be moved by fear, guilt, or flattery. Because when you remain calm in her storm, she doesn't just love you, she trusts you. And trust is the deepest form of attraction, the masculine art of stillness. When she tests you, she's not measuring how fast you can respond. She's measuring how still you can remain. Stillness is not silence. It's composure. It's the invisible signal of dominance in a world ruled by reaction. In female psychology, emotional stillness is the ultimate indicator of masculine strength. When a woman throws you off balance, she's unconsciously recreating the emotional tension that defines polarity, the magnetic dance between chaos and order, between the storm and the mountain. She is chaos by nature. You are meant to be the mountain. Most men misunderstand this. They think dominance is about control over her, but it's about control over yourself. The man who tries to control her loses her respect. The man who controls his reaction gains it, because deep down, women don't test for obedience. They test for authentic command. Machiavelli's prince, when confronted by betrayal or tension, never reacted impulsively. He analyzed, he waited. He created the illusion of calm even when he was enraged. That calm created fear, respect, and influence. The same principle applies to relationships. Your calmness is not passivity, it's strategy. She accuses you, withdraws, or questions your worth. You want to defend yourself, to explain your intentions, but explanation is the language of weakness. When you over-explain, you show that her emotions control your behavior. The Machiavellian man, however, lets his silence become the mirror. Silence unsettles her, but it also fascinates her. In that silence, she begins to feel your emotional gravity. It pulls her closer, not through words, but through presence. This is the paradox of power. The less you need to prove, the more powerful you become. Women sense this intuitively. They know the man who doesn't chase emotional reassurance is the man who truly knows his value. That's the man who can lead, not just love. In dark feminine energy, testing is a ritual of polarity. The feminine creates storms to verify that the masculine foundation still holds. If you crumble, she loses faith. If you stay grounded, she surrenders emotionally, not out of submission but trust. The stillness of a man calms the storm of a woman. That's the eternal truth both psychology and philosophy converge upon. Machiavelli said that power is maintained not by constant motion but by calculated restraint. A ruler who reacts to every threat weakens his aura of command. Likewise, a man who reacts to every emotional storm loses his sacred mystery. Stillness then becomes your hidden weapon. It's not indifference. It's the art of being unmoved by temporary emotion, because you serve a greater mission, purpose, discipline, and direction. When she senses that stillness, that deep, unshakable energy, her tests stop feeling like battles. They become dance steps. She realizes she can unleash her full emotional nature without losing you. That's when respect turns into devotion, detachment without coldness, the shadow balance. Many men, after learning about emotional control, swing too far into emotional detachment. They build walls, become distant, even arrogant, mistaking numbness for mastery. But true Machiavellian strategy is balance. Detachment is not emotional death. It's emotional discipline. A man who feels nothing is as weak as a man who feels everything. The strong man feels deeply but expresses selectively. That's emotional intelligence through strategy. The ability to hold passion without being ruled by it. In relationships, coldness repels, but controlled warmth magnetizes. The dark feminine energy doesn't want a robot. She wants a man who burns like fire, but refuses to let the flames consume him. Machiavelli wrote that it's wiser to appear merciful than to be merciful. Not because mercy is weakness, but because appearance is the realm of influence. Similarly, in emotional dynamics, perception is everything. If you show chaos, she feels unsafe. If you show composure with depth, she feels secure. When she tests you with emotional intensity, she's not looking for indifference. She's seeking to feel your strength through calm emotion. Indifference communicates fear of connection. Calm emotion communicates mastery of connection. Here lies the shadow balance, the narrow bridge between too much reaction and too little feeling. Cross it wrongly, and you fall into either chaos or emptiness. But when you walk it well, you embody what Jung called the integrated masculine. A man both fierce and peaceful, capable of passion without panic. The woman's emotional test is nature's way of teaching this balance. Every test you pass rewires your nervous system. You stop being reactive and start being receptive, not to her moods, but to their meaning. Each test teaches you to observe without absorbing. In attraction psychology, this is the transformation from needy energy to magnetic energy. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer seek validation. You command it effortlessly. When she feels this in you, she starts to relax. She may still test you, but now her tests become playful, even intimate. They're no longer about power, they're about polarity. The Machiavellian man doesn't suppress love, he uses love strategically. He knows when to speak, when to remain silent, when to act, and when to simply exist. His energy feels deliberate, never desperate. That's what captivates women. The sense that your emotions serve you, not the other way around. Detachment without coldness is the art of staying emotionally open while mentally sovereign. It's the highest masculine form, the kind of energy that women can't manipulate, only admire, because in a world of men who either beg or withdraw, the one who remains composed and connected becomes unforgettable. How the feminine tests reveal your shadow. Every emotional test she gives you is not just about her psychology, it's about your shadow. Jung described the shadow as the hidden part of the psyche, the repressed fears, insecurities and desires we refuse to confront. When she triggers you, she's not creating your shadow, she's revealing it. That's why emotional tests feel so painful. They force you to meet parts of yourself you've been avoiding. She questions your ambition, and you feel defensive, because deep down, you fear you're not doing enough. She withdraws affection and you panic because you fear abandonment. She compares you to others and anger rises because your ego feels exposed. Every reaction is a message. Every test points to a wound. And that's why women's tests, though maddening, can be profoundly transformative. They're mirrors that reflect your inner chaos. Machiavelli taught rulers to study human weakness ruthlessly, not to judge it, but to use it. You must do the same with yourself. When a test triggers you, study it like a strategist. What fear did she expose? What insecurity did she reveal? That awareness transforms pain into power. You stop blaming her for your emotions and start mastering them. You evolve from reactive to reflective, from boy to man, from follower to leader. In dark feminine energy, testing is never random. It's her unconscious attempt to awaken your higher masculine archetype. The king, not the servant. She wants to feel that her emotional storms can't destroy you, that your masculine core is indestructible. When you handle her tests with awareness, something profound happens. The energy shifts. She no longer sees you as a participant in her chaos. She sees you as the container of it. The relationship becomes a sacred polarity. Her emotion gives you meaning. Your control gives her safety. This is why Jung said that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. The emotional test is that reaction, the fire through which both evolve. If you avoid it, you stay stagnant. If you embrace it consciously, you rise. So the next time she tests you, when she doubts, provokes, or withdraws, remember, this is not punishment. It's alchemy. You are being invited to integrate your shadow, to become whole, to embody the calm power Machiavelli admired and Jung understood. Because the man who fears emotional chaos never becomes great, but the man who walks through it calmly, consciously, becomes both feared and loved. Just as Machiavelli said a true ruler must. Mastery and the final test, becoming unshakable. Every man who passes her previous test eventually faces the final one, the moment when she unconsciously probes the deepest parts of his strength. This is not about cruelty or manipulation. It's the ultimate verification of emotional sovereignty. She wants to see if your composure is situational or inherent, if your calmness is dependent on her moods or independent of them. This stage is subtle. She may become distant without explanation, question your intentions with indirect remarks, or push you into discomfort just to observe your reaction. Most men misinterpret this as rejection or hostility,